This is a short one like me. Dudes with Brews on the Porch presents Michael Brews.
Dude. Craft Brews and Casual Conversations joined with me. I'm very excited. I'm very happy to welcome Kevin L. Jackson from Ozark onto the show. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing well. It's Kevin L. Johnson, though.
Oh, geez. What, did I say Jackson?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. I'm sorry. I knew it was Johnson. I said Jackson. Freudian slip. Off to a great start so far. How's it going, man? How's the quarantine treating you so far and everything?
It's okay. I mean, just finding things to do. Like I do CrossFit in the morning, so that's kept me busy. Been doing a lot of podcast interviews, so that's cool. Started doing like a little bit of photography with like Instagram, like trying to find something to post, like creative in the backyard. So that keeps me a little busy. Obviously binge watching a lot of shows.
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
just got done with the first season of Bosch.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah. Speaking of binge-worthy shows, you're on one. You're part of one. Ozark, 3 seasons now on Netflix. I got to admit, I was a late bloomer to the Ozark world. It was in my queue right away when I first saw it on season 1, and I just it's hard for me to watch shows I want to watch because I have 2 young children, and so while Netflix has great programming, I don't always get to it. But I gotta say, Ozark is, I feel like it just starts off with a huge bang, and it's like you're right away, you're in it. There's no waiting. There's no tiptoeing around things, man. And it's a crazy show. What's it like to be a part of that? And how do you kind of get your mindset into being a part of the show?
Oh man, I know it's a crazy ride. It's almost like a 10-part movie each season, the way it's done. Well, we keep it light on set, because it is a dark show. And yeah, I mean, it's great to get to work with Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, Julia Garner, and getting to work with Jason, behind the camera as well. Seeing him go from director to being in the scene with you, that's a really cool treat. He always has good notes, easy notes to kind of to figure out. So he's very much an actor's director, really, really good at it. And then Laura Linney, she's just a national treasure, is what I say. And it's like a master class getting to work with her. Because I grew up watching her, in the Truman Show and all kinds of TV shows and other movies. So yes, she's such a giving actor. Yes, so sweet off set, badass on set.
Yeah.
And then you got Julia Garner, who's definitely an up and comer. Well, I mean, she's now there. This show kind of made her blow up. And she's just like a tour de force. So we get some good stuff in season 2 and then in season 3 together. So yeah, man, it's been a crazy ride, and it's just been a blessing to be a part of such a really cool cast.
What's it like to be, a part of like a binge-worthy show? Because, nowadays it's we still have the standard 1 episode a week type format, but really a lot of people nowadays, even with that format, I still binge watch sitcoms via, a streamable service.
Yeah.
What's that like, where you could, season 3 comes out and then the next day someone's already reached the end and they're like, I need more. And right now there's, there isn't, you have to wait for more. What's that kind of like to talk to someone and all of a sudden, like, you have one person you interact with, they're like, oh yeah, this happened in season or episode 1 of season 3. And then another person's like, yeah, man, I just finished it and I haven't slept for 23 hours.
I know streaming has definitely changed the game. it's always interesting because you get those hardcore fans that watch the show within 2 days or maybe even one day, and they're already online, kind of like trying to find out theories about the next season. And then you got people who, like to kind of take their time and watch the show. So it's interesting. Like if you're not like a big time binger, it's probably good to stay off social media until you finish the show, or make it where, stuff about Ozark doesn't come up on Twitter, so you aren't accidentally seeing, something that you haven't gotten to in the show yet. But yeah, streaming has definitely changed the game, because people are always like 2 days later saying, "Hey, when's the next season coming out?"
Yeah.
And
like
it's like the show just came out.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy. And with like the one thing I find frustrating as a viewer, and I would imagine as a performer and actor you can relate to this, but when people do drop spoilers, a week in even, when the new season drops, that's got to be a little frustrating because you want everyone to kind of experience it for the first time through watching it versus reading something on social media. Have you ever had have you seen any like spoilers where you're like, man, it's really early to drop that? And what's your take on spoilers? How long should we wait?
I think like 2-3 weeks is a nice grace period. If you haven't finished it in like 2 to 3 weeks, I mean, that's a lot of time to finish a show, especially since all the episodes are on there. But yeah, I mean, social media has definitely changed it with all that. I mean, it's difficult to keep people from posting things. Like when I promote the show when it comes out, I usually put on my when I post something like, "Hey, be kind to people who aren't going to see the whole show in like 2 days. Don't post any spoilers. If you know who's going to get knocked off in in the season finale, don't post that. Don't post a picture of it. Just be nice, be kind to others."
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I had to this forum on Facebook. Really cool guy. He loves the show, and somebody posted a picture of the big, thing that happens in the final episode at the very end. Like they posted a freeze frame of it, and I was like, "Oh man, I don't think we need to put this up. It's a little too early for this. Yeah, we need to take that down." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I totally understand." So but you can't police everybody.
Right. I get being a fan and being excited and wanting to talk about it. Because I kind of had that experience with The Walking Dead for a while. I was really into the comics. I've read a lot of the comics. It kind of tapered off a little bit, and then I saw some like foreshadowing in the show, and I was like, oh, I think this is gonna happen. But I was like, who do I talk to about it? And I felt like I was gonna explode because I didn't want to ruin somebody's day, because ultimately what I thought was gonna happen happened, and I was like, man, I wish I could talk to somebody. And
I love The Walking Dead. I'm all caught up. I mean, I've been watching it for a number of years, and I can't wait for the finale. I know they had to postpone the finale, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Everything's kind of crazy right now, and you got to go in post-production, and they weren't quite finished with that final episode.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. I'm a little bit behind on that too.
Okay.
I saw Rick's episode, the one with Rick.
Oh, okay. So you saw last season,
right?
Wait, last season, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit behind, and I think I'll be able to catch up eventually in time. But I'm kind of checking out your IMDb a little bit, and I noticed a little Walking Dead action on there for you. What's that like?
So I did shoot the new The Walking Dead Beyond.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out that I got cut from the scene that I was in.
I'm
but
sorry.
That's okay. That happens. That means I'm also back in the pool to audition for the universe again, which is great, because I definitely want to be a part of it because I love The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead. So getting to audition again for maybe something even bigger would be really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, I hope you don't leave this interview thinking he screwed up my last name and then he talked about this role. So,
no, man, I thought that was funny.
What's so like? Kind of walk us through your audition and acting process, because a lot of people, they see the actors on the screen, and some people, eventually over time they gain some momentum and they can like limit the audition process a little bit, but majority of actors have to go through this process, and sometimes things like that happen where you're in it, but then you go to the premiere of a movie or something like that, and then you see that you're not in it. What's that like? Like, kind of, it's not all lights, camera, action, glamour type stuff. There is some moments in, like, with every job, every career, that can be a little disappointing. And how do you bounce back from that?
Oh yeah, you never know what's going to make the cut or what's going to be on the floor, basic, like the writing room, cutting room floor, as they say. I mean, it's hard to figure out if that's going to happen. Sometimes you get the like, they'll call your agent or your manager and tell them, hey, he got cut from the show or he got cut from the movie, which is what they did with The Walking Dead, which was really cool. That was nice that they let me know. But yeah, I mean, I've had other, the movie American Made that I did with Tom Cruise. I'm credited in the movie, but then I saw the movie and I'm I'm not in the movie. But somehow I have a credit at the end of the actual movie itself, not just on IMDb. So it's so weird. Like, I'm credited in that, but then I did a movie called Prisoners with Hugh Jackman, Jake Gyllenhaal, Viola Davis. And I had a nice little scene at the end with Jake Gyllenhaal. And I'm uncredited on IMDb, so I don't have a credit in the movie, but I'm clearly in the movie because we have a scene together.
It's weird.
So it's such a bizarre business,
Yeah, absolutely. And then there's always, you complete one project and now technically you're unemployed. It's it's like contract to contract. Yeah, that's pretty wild. But let's talk a little bit more about Ozark and your character Sam. What's your take on the character, and how did you approach this? Like you said, there is a lot of darkness to the show Ozark. There are some parts too that you chuckle at, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to chuckle, but I find it funny. How's that? How's that been? You're kind of going strong on the seasons and everything like that. What's it like to kind of have like this consistent gig and your approach on this character?
Oh, it's been a blessing, man. Like, when I booked the role, first off, I didn't think I was going to book it because I found out from my manager, from the casting directors, that they were going to go with somebody older. So I said, okay, that happens. I've been in this business long enough to take rejection. And then I found out, just driving back to Charlotte for a callback for a short film, my agent calls me and he says, yeah, they want to book you for Ozark. So, go to the table read, get to meet Jason Bateman, Laura Linney, Julia Garner. So I got the jitters out of the way, getting to meet some, like Jason Bateman, who I knew from Arrested Development and all the movies, and then Laura Linney, who I knew growing up in the movies. So I got all that star kind of stuff out of the way. And then got on set, and I thought it was going to be, because writers, for TV shows, they write as they go kind of thing. So I was thinking it was going to be like 2 to 3 episodes. Didn't know what they had planned, and, got on set, and I guess they just loved what I was doing with the character, and just got lucky, and they just kept writing me in and then giving me cool storylines. And so I go from being like, a mama's boy to my mom getting hit by a truck, to going to be a motivational speaker, to Wendy coming to ask me to run the strip club, to meeting my girlfriend, to getting into a casino scam in season 3. So it's been a crazy, crazy ride, man. Like getting this arc, I had no idea me, like personally, would get to go on this adventure. I knew the show was going to be good. I felt really good about the show itself, but I've just been really blessed to have gotten to be, I think, a really, really good part of the show for the last 3 seasons.
Absolutely. And it's always cool to see that too as a viewer. You don't want to see, you want to see character development. You want to see advancement, not just not just in the main people. You're part of it. You're in the shit now, which is great. And but it's like you said, you started off as this, you're kind of going in a completely different direction. So I would imagine like just being an actor in that role, like it's got to be awesome, because now it's like, oh, now I get started off as this Mama Boys, but now I'm playing this, the same person, but this different version. And that's what happens in life too. Everyone changes and progresses. So I think that's absolutely amazing, and I'm pumped for you, man. I'm excited for you that you get this opportunity, because you talked about you walk into a room, Jason Bateman's in there, and you Arrested Development, all these great things, and now he's your coworker, which is just great, and I hope one day I can. I'm kind of a radio guy. I used to work full time in radio, and I always said I want to be the next Casey Kasem, and then he passed away, and I didn't get my chance. But I still think I can. I think I can do it. But with the show Dudes with Brews on a porch, usually we kind of drink a beer and everything like that. I don't have one set aside today, but are you a drinker at all, Kevin? Not like a casual drinker. Do you enjoy a beverage?
Yeah, I like a beverage.
What's kind of your favorite kind? Are you a craft guy, commercially beer guy, or what do you prefer?
I like the microbreweries. Is Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout, is that a craft beer? That's not like,
sounds like it.
Like that's one of my favorite beers. I think it comes it's in a big bottle. It's like a yellow label.
Okay. I'll have to check
I think it's called Samuel Smith's is a brand, and then it's an oatmeal stout. So that's really good. I also like the Hell or High Watermelon. Have you had that before?
That sounds really familiar. Sounds familiar. Yeah, I've had a couple. We've had a couple of watermelon beers, but not that one specifically. But I think I might have had that one previously.
I'm trying to think of. Is that an Atlanta brewery? Maybe that's why. Oh man, I'm trying to think. But that's the name of the of that beer itself that they have, which is Hell or High Watermelon.
Nice.
And it's a really good, refreshing, when it's hot out, that's a really good beer to have. It's like a seasonal beer too. So
you said that's from Atlanta. Are you from Atlanta?
I grew up in Lake Wiley, South Carolina, but I moved from Charlotte, North Carolina to Atlanta in 2015, which is where I'm at. Yes.
Cool. Have you ever been Wisconsin at all?
No, I would love to visit Wisconsin.
There, a lot of people would argue there's not a lot to do, but there's some cool stuff. We have Summerfest, which is like they say the world's largest music festival, and it's pretty big. But definitely the breweries, and of course cheese and all that kind of stuff. Uh-huh. Cheese is delicious. So it's I could have cheese and beer all day. I've never spent time in Georgia. I'm actually going there, I think, kind of towards the end of the year. Hope for something that I can't talk about because the person's going to hear this. So,
okay.
Anyways,
congratulations.
Thank you. It should be fun. Yeah, well, that's cool, man. Yeah, we just like to talk about beer every once in a while. I'm a pretty big hoppy guy. I like the IPAs and kind of the hipster beers. I try not to be a hipster, but it just tastes so good sometimes.
I can't. I don't know. The IPAs, they're just. I'm not a big hoppy guy. Like it's just. It's. I think it's an acquired taste. I think. I don't know. It's interesting. Like if somebody hands me a free beer, then yeah, I'll drink it. But I don't know. IPAs are a little too hoppy for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I think at first, when I first started, kind of like drifting away from Bud Light, I did try the IPAs, and I thought they were disgusting. But over time, yeah, I've really grown to love them, and they're enjoyable. Stouts, I do like stouts, but I really have to be in the mood for one. It's kind of be with the proper food or something like that where I can enjoy it. But yeah,
it's also got to be kind of cold. I mean, you don't want to drink a stout like in, I don't know, during like the summertime. Cold weather, that's a great time for a stout.
Yeah, absolutely. And we get a lot of cold weather in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's weird, man. Like it was not, I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It was like the most beautiful day you could possibly imagine, and the sun's out, not a cloud in the sky. 30 minutes later, it's snowing, and then the sun broke out again, and then the snow started again. It's really weird. I know, and Georgia doesn't get too much snow, I don't think, right?
No, I mean we maybe like once or twice a year, and it's really, really minimal. But yeah. But I mean, weather is still like crazy. Like it was nice, this like early today, and all of a sudden it, just started raining. So Mother Nature, she can't make up her mind.
That's for sure. Where do you film Ozark? Is that in California?
Oh no, we filmed that in Atlanta.
Awesome. So
yeah.
It works out. That's great. Yeah, it's have you ever? And I might be. Where is Ozark? I'm blanking out on it right now. Where are the Ozarks?
In Missouri.
Okay, Missouri. That's where it is.
Yeah.
So what's that like? Like you have to like kind of research the area a little bit just to kind of get a feel for it, or is it they just kind of do some shots of it and then you pretend you're there? How does that work?
Oh well, we have a studio in Norcross, Georgia, where we do a lot of the interior scenes, like the bird's house, the casino they made on the soundstage. And then like we'll have the exterior shots near like Lake Lanier, Lake Altoona, so it looks like you're in the Ozarks. But also I think like when they do like a really wide shot, like almost airplane view down, like especially when they did season 1, like the finale of the first episode where they're on the cliff and the camera pans out, or is it zoom? No, pans out. One or the other, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
And you see like the landscape, and that's definitely the Ozarks. You can't fake that.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty great shot too. I remember where it's just it's all wide open. And are you into like cinematography at all, or are you kind of do you work behind the camera ever? Do you have any aspirations to work behind the camera at all?
I've never worked behind the camera. I never want to say no, because I think it would be a good a cool challenge. I mean, because that stuff's not easy.
Right.
So more power to people who can do that, who can write. I mean, those things are are definitely not in my wheelhouse. But you never know. I mean, who knows what the future holds when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great, man. And I mean, you're doing good work right now. So
thank you.
I say, you can stick with that too, and I think we'll support you with that. But thank you so much for hopping on the show, man. I really appreciate it. I know, granted it's a weird time, but still, you probably have some better things to do than doing a podcast. So I appreciate it, and it was it's been a lot of fun. I look forward to all the stuff going on with Ozark and all the stuff going on in your career. Where can they see those Instagram shots that you're talking about, and how can they get a hold of you or follow what you're doing?
Yeah, Instagram is going to be the Kevin L. Johnson, and then Twitter will be Kevin_L_Johnson.
All right, cool. Do you like to like you said, you're trying to, in a sense, spruce up the Instagram game, and I need to do that too. I need to get better at my Instagram posts. Have you found any effective measures or methods, any certain camera angles that the people like?
I try to like if you get the camera close, like I had the iPhone 11,
yeah,
so it's got the portrait mode, which is really cool. And I think when you, like, if you're taking a picture of a flower or like a leaf or something like that, the closer you get to what you're trying to take a picture of, the better I think it looks, because it really focuses on that. Like, I think one of my last ones was it was like I think it was a maple leaf that that had some like some water still on it from like the day before, like when it rained.
Nice.
So it looked really cool. So yeah, I'm no photographer, but I thought, why not try something different? Since there's a lot of free time right now.
Yeah, I like it. I'm still going into work, but I'm working a little bit less than what I'm normally working, and I've tried to figure out like what hobby should I pick up? What should I try to improve? I've been running a lot.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I do that. I jog. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I jog too. I've done two half marathons in the last 2 weeks. So I did some virtual runs, which are pretty cool, and raised some money for a local business. So I was pretty proud of that.
What's a half marathon? Is that like 10K?
It's a little more than a 10K. It's 13.1 miles is what it comes down to.
Oh, okay. Because I did like 11.2K, I think, yesterday. It was our CrossFit workout, which was a 10K, but I did 2 laps, which ended up being like a 11.2. So
yeah, that's a little over 6 miles. So that's quite the haul too. It's not easy running. It
was definitely not a run, that's for sure. It was a jog, no doubt.
Well, that's always important too. But awesome, man. Thanks again for doing this, and I hope one day you get to visit the fine lands of Wisconsin and definitely check out some of the breweries there, and of course continued success in your career wherever you go. We're gonna get you on The Walking Dead, and it's gonna be great, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for having me, Drew. Appreciate it.
Pew pew! Audio. Goodbye, everyone.